Good morning, students. Welcome back to Computer Applications classes. Hope all of you are doing well. In this session, we are going to cover types of hardware. This is the next chapter of Unit 1. Let us have an overview what all different topics we are going to cover in this session. First, an overview of computer system and then memory in a computer system. And input devices and output devices will be covered in the separate session. Now first let us see what is computer memory. It is any physical device capable of storing information temporarily or permanently. So like we have got our brain to store any information, in the same way computer has also got some devices. It can store something and temporarily like RAM, and some information as permanently like hard disk, like the secondary memories. We will be covering the full-fledged concepts of computer memory and its units in the coming slides. Before that, let us have an overview. So the hardware of the computer system comprises CPU, memory. The introduction has already been done. The memory is again divided as primary memory and secondary memory, and then input devices and output devices. So these are the four things that is actually required for computer system. So the hardware of the computer system, if anyone asks, what do you mean by the hardware of the computer system? First, you should know that anything which is touchable, all the devices which are touchable in the computer system, that is the hardware. But it comprises of CPU, memory, input devices and output devices. Now let us study or discuss the memory in detail. First we will look into what is the unit of the memory, how we are going to measure it. Okay, so the computer is storing the data or processing the data or information in the form of binary numbers, that is 0 and 1. Hope all of you know it, right? So this 0 and 1 is also known as bit. That's why we call it as binary digit. The full form of bit is binary digit. Let us see, in this screen you can see a table wherein you can see 1 bit means bit, that is the binary digit. Then 8 bit means 1 byte. And 2 to the power 10, that is 1024 bytes means 1 KB. In the same order, we have got KB, MB, GB, TB and PB. So these terabyte, petabyte, so the highest one it is exabyte. Okay, so now in the next slide we are going to understand what are the different types of memory. First primary memory and then the secondary memory. Primary memory is again divided into ROM and RAM. Then the RAM is converted or divided in static RAM, dynamic RAM and cache, and ROM is categorized in PROM, EPROM and EEPROM. PROM is programmable read-only memory, EPROM is erasable programmable read-only memory, and EEPROM is electronically or electrically erasable programmable read-only memory. Then secondary memory has disk drive, tape drives or magnetic or optical drives. This disk drives is divided into floppy disk, hard disk, CD-ROM. We have got DVDs also. Then the CD-ROM is again divided into read-only and read-write. Okay, you would have seen those those CDs or DVDs. Some DVDs can be rewritable, like once you have burnt, it can be burnt again. But some CDs or some DVDs cannot be rewritable. Once it is burnt, so it cannot be burnt again. So like that. Okay. Now Let us understand what is main memory. Main memory is relatively a large memory placed outside the processor. The data and the instruction storage for the operation of the processor. Okay, so and it can be accessed directly and rapidly by the CPU. So if any information CPU requires, it will directly first search the main memory and then search anywhere else. Okay, that's why we are calling it as main memory or the primary memory. Now here, over here in the screen, you can see one picture that RAM and ROM and CPU on the motherboard. So CPU is actually doing what? It is attached with two different memories. One is RAM, another is ROM. Getting it? So the RAM, you can see the picture, RAM. Okay, and this one is ROM. I hope all of you can now identify which one is RAM and which one is ROM. Okay. So RAM is a volatile one and ROM is non-volatile. Now let us see what is the difference between RAM and ROM. So RAM, it stands for random access memory and ROM stands for read-only memory. RAM is form of data storage that can be accessed randomly at any time. Randomly means, suppose I have got a class wherein I have got 20 students. Out of them, I can call anyone at any time. So that is your random access. But in ROM, this thing cannot be done. It is only read-only memory. I cannot write anything. Or you can say it is the instructions, whatever is there, it is already been instructed at the time of manufacturing only. That random access is not available. Now, in the next point is the RAM contents can be changed, but ROM cannot be changed. It cannot be reprogrammed. Then RAM allows, here in this line, RAM allows the computer to read data quickly to run applications, but ROM stores the program required to initially boot the computer. Booting means, all of you know, the starting of your computer wherein the operating system is copied from the hard disk or the secondary memory to your primary memory. Then operation supported, it allows reading and writing, but ROM only reading. Then RAM, we already know it is volatile because its contents are lost when the device is powered off over here. And ROM is non-volatile. RAM is much larger than ROM, okay, but ROM is smaller one. Then RAM chips can read data faster than ROM and ROM is slower. With this, we are completing with the difference between RAM and ROM. Now, secondary memory. All of you know secondary memory is larger in capacity but slower than the main memory. It is permanent storage of data and instructions like hard disk, CD, floppy and many more. We are going to cover it in the next slide. Let us see some examples. Hard disk, floppy disk, compact disk, DVDs, flash memories, Blu-ray disk, memory stick, cloud storage. Okay, so all these are different types of secondary memories. Now, I hope all of you have understood what are the different types of secondary memory we are having. Now, amongst them, cloud storage. Cloud storage is a bit new thing to all of you. Cloud storage is nothing but storing your data over net in simple language. Or you can say, you would have taken, you can take an example of Google Drive. So now Google Drive is the example for cloud. So wherein you can store your data over the net and you can access it later on whenever you require. Now this compact disc and DVDs both are rewritable and recordable. Okay. Flash memories are, for the example, flash memories can be pen drives. Okay. So these are the different examples of your secondary memories. Now in the next slide, we are going to learn what is the difference between primary and secondary memory. This is again an important portion. Memory that is directly connected and accessed by the computer CPU is primary. Here it is written storage. Do not get confused. Its storage is nothing but the memory only. Okay. So primary memory and secondary memory. Now the secondary memory, so this one, do not get confused, it is only memory only. Okay. Now the memory is volatile, the primary memory, whereas secondary memory is non-volatile, because once you have saved, it is saved in your pen drive, right? It can never go. Now next, the direct access by CPU, then indirect access by CPU, faster data access, slower data access, used for processing data, used for storing data. Primary memory is small in size, whereas secondary memory is larger in size. Now let us understand what is cache memory. It is not directly in the syllabus, but we should know when we are learning memory. So cache memory is performance, the system performance suffers when processor waits for data or from slow memory device. So at that time, cache memory is introduced between CPU and main memory. So this is very important to boost up the speed of your computer. So you can consider it in your syllabus. Okay. Now cache is high speed memory for holding recently or frequently used data. So the amount of cache has a tremendous impact on the computer speed. With this, I am covering the most of the concepts of this chapter, and the input and output devices will be covered in the next session. Thank you.